in this last block, we had Ron Thomas, Cindy Omatsu, Efrain, Sevilla, Sonny, Mannon. We had a lot of masters who don't focus as much on kicking and punching. They focus on takedowns, they focus on submission, they focus on wrestling and stuff. What did you learn from all that, and how did the differences of all those styles, how did you interpret those and take those and then internalize them?
We were able to study different perspectives of grappling through the masters that we interviewed. Burton Richardson, he comes from a JKD, Silat, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. And we got to work a lot of stuff with what if the guy has a knife? And Burton's stuff is really, really pressure tested. So, and he had us doing this stuff where you're not holding the knife out, you're actually, initiating a more realistic attack. So just by putting a knife in our hands and not leaving it out, where you're just, leaving the knife out, changes the game tremendously. So, we were looking at it through that lens.
Like a real world application.
Yes, yes. And if you're going to get stabbed, obviously we're not using real knives, but that's good. You're going to learn from it. It's better to do it in here than to do it out there.
Learn it out there.
That's why we train. With Cindy Omatsu, pure Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And she's not a strong person. She has to rely on technique. So she's so relaxed, And there's hidden stuff in there with her weight distribution and how she does a certain thing that she's not necessarily telling you, but all of a sudden when it's like, well, how did you do that? And what did you do to me? And when she explains it, you're like, oh, okay. We have Efrain Sevilla, my friend, who comes from a wrestling and BJJ background. So he's really good about initiating the entry and the takedown. And then, once you're on the ground, utilizing the submissions that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is so strong with. We have Sonny Mannon, Sifu Sonny Mannon. Chinese wrestling, Shuai Zhao. Some amazing takedowns and stealing balance. And he's doing movements where he's moving back like this. Previous I thought, okay, in karate we have this move, but what he's showing is that grabbing onto the arm here, putting this behind the knee, and then when you turn away, your opponent goes flying and ends up on the ground. So it's a different perspective. And it was like, wow, I didn't see that before. That application is really cool. So the Chinese Shuai Zhao is great because it helps my karate become more functional, right? And sometimes you have to look at other things to discover that what you had was already there. You just didn't realize it, because movement is movement. Now with Sensei David Dai, Aikido, along with karate and along with Hawaiian Lua, but mainly Aikido. From David Dai, I learned a lot about body mechanics, physics, anatomy, and being able to steal balance from an opponent, but not muscling them, which is a lot of martial arts is technique, but specifically, he's a master of that. And 1 minute you're here and the next minute you're there, and you're wondering how you got there, and then enabling to maintain control over your opponent with minimal force. And with Sensei Dai coming from his law enforcement background, that is very, very relevant today. I think that is something that could be taught.
That submission and control that is not deadly force.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I would agree.
And then finally we have Sensei Ron Thomas, from the original Karate Kid movie, who's, a legit Japanese Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And, he just likes pushing on your points and, it's like, this hurts, my neck. And, he's just really a master of finding pressure points and, again, stealing balance in a different way than Sifu Sonny did. But the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu is a lot about, getting somebody to the ground and then submitting them probably in a more painful way, but he definitely knows pressure points and he knows how to hurt you, and of course he's a gentleman. But man, don't let him touch your neck. Ron Thomas reminds me of Jean LaBelle. Don't mess with your neck, because he's gonna put a hurting on you.
Right. You got taken down a lot in this last segment.
I get taken down a lot in almost every episode, you know.
Metaphorically or physically.
Well, you know, I get choked or taken down or punched, you know, and I mean, you know, let's look back at the Michelle Manu episode, and you know, there were some good ones in there. I got taken down, I got my fingers crunched, and I got choked out, you know, and in the best of all possible ways. Hey, it's William Christopher Ford with another episode of 52 Masters. In this installment, Professor one more time. I got it right the first time, it's unusual. Hey, it's...
I got my daughter crying, Daddy. Yes, okay. Baby. Can you wait? Okay, so... got a 5-year-old girl.
We can
love of my life.
We can break that.
Slow it down. Breathe.
Just pop it out. It's weird. I never used the clipboard. Maybe it's just not.
Okay.
What lessons do you think you've learned from these masters that you can incorporate into your own teaching that's not about technique, that's about the technique of teaching itself?
You know, with every one of the masters that I got a chance to train with, they're all very, very passionate about their art and about teaching. And they all genuinely care about their students. And that was all across the board. Not one person that I got a chance to be with was all about the money. And the attention to details, the caring for every student, the dedication to their art, their commitment to serve. I definitely can take that back, and I add that to my own practice. And I believe the same thing, but to see it in practice just all across the board gives me a lot of inspiration and a lot of encouragement and a lot of hope. And it's like, yeah, these are my peeps. Yeah.
You know, my wife's an educator. She's dedicated to lifelong learning. She teaches a lot of adults, a lot of seniors, and kids too. And that's a belief she and I both have. Is too many people, I think, once they get out of high school or college, decide they've learned enough and they're just going to work with what they've got. Martial artists are dedicated to this lifetime pursuit of getting better and learning new things, gaining knowledge, improving themselves. And I think beyond different styles of martial arts, I think everyone could take a page from that and try to dedicate themselves to making themselves a little better every day at anything, at something, at writing, at their own craft, at their job, at being a parent, at being a person, at being a citizen. I think the world would be a better place if everyone dedicated themselves to improving bit by bit by bit, patiently, over a long stretch of time. And that's something martial artists dedicate themselves to, and it's something that I really admire.